What family tradition did you realize was actually illegal? My dad taught all his kids how to hunt from a very young age. I got my first rifle when I was just 7. Every November, we'd pack our truck and head deep into the Montana wilderness for our annual hunting trip. Dad would wake us at 4 a.m. and say, "Time to put food on the table, boys." Just me, Dad, and my brothers spending a week where nobody could find us. Dad had 3 strict rules. No phones allowed. He'd check our bags. No telling anyone where we were going. Not even Mom knew our location. And we never talked about our hunts with outsiders. I thought this was just Dad protecting his secret spots. The drive took hours through back roads. We'd reach this hidden cabin my grandfather built on land supposedly in our family for generations. No electricity, no water, just a wood stove, some bunks, and this massive gun safe that seemed out of place. Dad would unlock it first, revealing gear more expensive than anything else we owned. Each morning followed the same pattern. Wake before dawn, eat quickly, then head into the woods while stars were still visible. Dad would take us to different spots, teaching us to track animals, move silently, and make clean shots. 1 bullet, 1 kill, he'd whisper. "We're not here to make animals suffer." At least that's what I believed. I was 12 when I noticed something wrong. We were tracking a buck through a part of the forest I'd never seen. We crossed a stream, and suddenly the trees had bright orange markers on them. Dad saw me staring and grabbed my shoulder. "Ignore those, just Forest Service nonsense." His fingers dug in hard. I followed, but my gut twisted with worry. Later that day, we spotted an enormous buck, 14 points, bigger than any I'd seen. Dad pointed silently. He whispered for me to take the shot. I lined up perfectly, controlled my breathing, and squeezed. The buck dropped instantly. Dad's face lit up with pride. "Perfect shot, son. We field dressed it right there." Dad working frantically, constantly looking around. He made me help drag it back before dark. That night, Dad drank more whiskey than usual. He started telling stories I'd never heard, about Grandpa outrunning game wardens, about caves where they'd hide meat when outsiders got nosy. My brothers laughed while I sat quietly connecting dots. Dad caught my expression and locked eyes with me. "This is our heritage. Some rules don't matter out here." In college, I took an environmental law class where the professor showed us a map of protected wildlife areas. He pointed to orange boundary markers used for state refuges. Strictly no hunting zones. My blood ran cold. Those were identical to the markers I'd seen with Dad. I checked maps of our cabin area. Our cabin sat right on the edge of Montana's largest wildlife refuge. For generations, my family hadn't been hunting. We'd been poaching. Those secret spots Dad guarded were inside the refuge where animals lived unafraid because they were protected. I called Dad that night, asking about those orange markers. The line went silent. Finally, he spoke. "That land belonged to our family before the government stole it. We're just taking what's rightfully ours. Deer don't care about invisible lines." I tried explaining legal hunting was about sustainability. He cut me off. "This is our tradition. Your grandfather taught me. I taught you. What happens in those woods stays between us." That November, Dad called about our trip. For the first time, I refused. I couldn't participate knowing what we were doing. My brothers went without me. The illegal tradition continued. Years passed. I started my own family, taught my kids about conservation. When my oldest turned 7, Dad called saying it was time for his first real hunt. I refused. Last winter, my brother called at 2 a.m. Dad had been arrested. Game wardens had set up cameras after noticing depleted deer populations. They caught him and my brothers hunting inside the protected area. When they searched our cabin, they found everything. Hunting journals dating back decades, photographs, mounted heads with dates and locations. Our family tradition had resulted in poaching hundreds of protected animals. Dad faced multiple charges: illegal hunting, poaching, trespassing. When I visited him, he wasn't remorseful. He was angry with me. "You could have warned us they were watching," he said coldly, as if my law degree should have been used to help him break the law. The judge wasn't moved by Dad's family tradition defense. Dad received a suspended sentence, but the fines wiped out everything he had. The government seized the cabin and land. 3 generations of illegal hunting ended. I visit that same refuge with my children now. Cameras instead of rifles, watching deer move freely where my family once hunted them. I'm creating new traditions: wildlife photography, conservation, legal ways to connect with nature without destroying it.